What's up, guys? Tobin here with you. Thank you for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. I got a swiveling chair today. I'm swiveling. I'm like, appreciate you guys checking us out. Want to give a shout out to the great Barry Jackson because I just needed a morsel, man. I feel like a desperate Miami Heat rumor fodder drug addict fiend who will just take like the lowest level of anything just to get me by because Donovan Mitchell signs with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're like, where are we going? What direction are we going in with this? Is anything happening? Can we get any piece of news? And finally, we get some news. I got news. I don't know if I like the news. I'm not even sure if I'm excited about the news, but I got something. We got something that we could tangibly sink our teeth into. But today, Barry Jackson is reporting, and Anthony Chang on their free agency blog. They've done a tremendous job. Go check them out on the Miami Herald. Two of the best doing it. And so here's the report. The Heat has expressed interest in Bulls free agent DeMar DeRozan, and DeRozan has interest in Miami, according to two sources with knowledge of the situation. Miami is among several teams in play for the six-time All-Star. But there are significant challenges that could ultimately prevent a Heat-DeRozan marriage. The biggest at the moment that Barry goes on to write is money. The Heat only has a $5.2 million taxpayer mid-level exception or a minimum contract. Those are the only two avenues that the Heat have to sign DeRozan. DeRozan obviously looking for more than what would essentially be, a little bit more than what Kevin Love got. The other rumored teams that are out there, New York Knicks. This is by Sam Amick, I believe, of The Athletic. New York Knicks are a rumored team. And, of course, the Lakers, I think, are I would probably make the Lakers the front runner. Believe that they can, there's talks of would LeBron James take less? And I think he can make almost a $12 million now. I'm not, cutesy with the California, Florida tax difference and which games, because it's only your home games and not your road games, where that will lie in DeMar DeRozan and his decision-making. But, the reports out there were that Heat and Knicks, according to Sam Amick, are the preferable destinations of where he winds up getting moved. So we'll see. And obviously DeMar's from L.A., so I would probably put them in the catbird seat if I had to pick a team that I thought he was actually going to end up with. Then the other option is what Barry writes is DeRozan would get a salary more in line with his production if a Heat trades a player earning decent money to a team with cap space, either for draft picks or a player making significantly less. That would require doing a sign trade with the Bulls because teams above the first apron cannot make sign-in trades. So there's a lot of breakdown on the cap and the aprons, and it makes me want to put my head through a window. The one thing that I'm interested in with this, let's just say this happens. First of all, Barry kind of alludes to it. This is an interesting spot for the Miami Heat because I think of DeMar DeRozan mostly as a 2-3, kind of a tweener. And with this club in particular, let's just say that you signed him in and you didn't have to trade anybody. It feels like anyway you would have to trade somebody just from a basketball standpoint because a team with Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, who doesn't want to play the 4, DeMar DeRozan, who I imagine also probably doesn't want to play the 4, and Bam Adebayo, who is dying to probably play the 4. It feels very much like if you were going to bring in DeMar DeRozan, you have to make a move then of Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. One of them has to go if you're going to go in this direction. And if I had to lean what seems like a fit that would make more sense, I would probably lean Tyler playing with DeMar DeRozan as opposed to Terry playing with DeMar DeRozan. Now, You could put one of those guys on the bench. I don't think if you're going to bring DeMar DeRozan in, I doubt that he's going to come here for a bench role. A lot of people are saying, hey, he kind of wants to do what Jimmy's doing, which is have a big-time year, go back into free agency where there's more options, and then see where things lie. So this is almost a prove-it year to him, too. I don't think he would come here if he thought that he was going to be in a backup role. So then you're talking about, all right, put him starting backcourt, Terry coming off the bench, or trade Terry. And that could also alleviate, giving him a little bit more money, have a bit more of a proven commodity. Doesn't really shoot the three, has never been a three-point guy. He's a guy that has been a mid-range killer his entire life. Given you a lot to be desired in playoff performances, kind of going back to his Toronto days. Of course, is kind of known as, hey, they traded him for Kawhi Leonard. They ended up winning the championship, but is very, very talented. As talented an offensive player, is lit the Heat's ass on fire, all the time, has been just an absolute killer. But yeah, if you're coming in with a top three of Bam, Jimmy, and I was getting into this with Leroy, and Leroy's immediate reaction to this, and I think is a fair one, his immediate reaction was no effing way. This isn't going to work. You got essentially three guys in Jimmy, Bam, and DeMar who shoot all the same level. And I think that's fair. So it's if you were to play them, you would have to, you have to put some kind of spacing out there with them. And that would probably require Nico, of course, continuing his ability to not need much but be a viable threat out there, which I think he's growing and showing that he can be. And then he's got to play with one of either Tyler or Duncan in that spot to really make this something that works. But look, he is very, very durable. 79 games last year, played nearly 38 minutes, so played a lot of basketball. Gives the Heat, I think a reliability that they could go to. I think that the Heat and Jimmy, who's got a good relationship with him, I think they would maybe offensively defer in some spots to him. I'm a little bit, wondering if he is with Tyler, does this kind of become a DeMar Levine situation where you don't necessarily get the growth that you want? So there's those concerns too. I would definitely be into this if the Heat can get him on the cheap. If the Heat have to trade a guy just to give him a sizable salary, and even if it's on a 1-year deal, it's not it's not one of these that really entices me that much. It intrigues me because, okay, the Heat, at least it feels like the Heat are friggin' on the phone, right? And that's why I'm just I want to thank Barry. Just please, thank you for giving me something, Barry. Thank you for telling me they're working on something, because I think we're all just very frustrated by the public appearance, everything is quiet on the home front and they're not doing anything. So the idea that this is at least in the works makes me feel all right, at least they know, or at least that they got to feel something is in the works. Is it my favorite move in the world? Not really, because it feels a little hey, we're basically trying the Kyle Lowry thing again, knowing it's a different position, different skill set, but it's we're bringing in one of those old Toronto guys that is Jimmy's friend, that is different, but is it better? I think it could be. I think in its ideal world, it could be a little better because, yeah, he's done more for better teams than Terry Rozier has. So it's a little bit of an upgrade there. But, he hasn't. It hasn't really, panned out for him to be a part of anything real big and winning. And I think if you look at it a Chicago Bulls team, they've tried with all the talent that they've put on their roster, just didn't really shake out. They've had some bad things break their way with Levine injuries and Lonzo Ball injuries. So, you gotta take that into account. That's not really his fault. His numbers are consistently always, where they really have been. He's really, really offensively talented and a pure scorer. I mean, he is a pure scorer. He just is not a big 3-point shooter. But he is as pure a scorer as they probably come in the game. Very, very skilled. And then also, just his reliability, his durability. I could see the Heat being attracted to that. So I'm not against it, but it's not like, it's not one of these that gets the goosies flowing. I'm pretty goose neutral on this. But I am in the position where I do feel like different and spark and giving some kind of a look to this Heat roster that's just got to be accounted for. I'm into that. And so I think I'm more on board with it just because I'm more on board with a big shakeup and some kind of difference than I am just running it back. And I'd be intrigued to see what direction because it does feel like if you make a DeMar DeRozan move, there's got to be another move to fit it in, because on the roster just as is right now, it's going to be a bit weird, right? With Tyler Terry on the bench, Jaime Duncan, and DeMar DeRozan, where does he play? So, like, one of those guys key in the rotation feels like they'd have to go to another team. It just feels like that would have to be the direction that they go. And my lean is the most likely candidate would be Rozier, if I had to guess. I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of process of elimination on it, just based on contract, the need to have 3-point shooters. Because if you don't have Duncan Robinson and you only have Tyler, you really only have Tyler Hero, who's like, Tyler Hero could hit 7 3-pointers, and I would, like, on the regular, or Duncan Robinson could hit like 6, 7 3-pointers. Like, who else on the roster is going to do that? Pelle Larson, we have no idea. Jaime Jaquez, don't know that he could shoot like that. So I just feel like it'd be too tough to give away your 2 best shooters to bring in a guy who does live in the mid-range. And so the guy that I would have to go with would be probably Terry. And I could live with that upgrade, just knowing that you tried the Terry Rozier thing, didn't really pan out because of his injury. So, let's roll the dice on somebody we know is one of the more reliable players in the game, has been at higher stakes than Terry Rozier has more frequently, more regularly, has been the star of a team before, is still hungry and hunting for that ring. So there's that element too. Has been basically chasing this since the Raptors won without him. So there's elements to like there. But I'm just something, dude. I'm just happy there's some kind of real rumors to chew on, even though it's a DeMar DeRozan rumor. It's not like it's not A-level, It's like I'm going to it's maybe not like Ruth Chris steak. I'm like, maybe I'm going to Outback for this rumor, but it's steak nonetheless.